of presidency. That's also in the headlines this morning. And back to the Vanguard newspaper, murder of Super TV CEO. I met him lifeless on the floor. Chidinma makes U-turn, denies involvement. That's also in the papers this morning. And also find from the Premium Times this morning, Nigerian government moves to control media, allocates 4.8 billion naira to monitor WhatsApp phone calls. All right, always remember never to be in too much of a hurry to judge a story by its headline. We'll take details of some of these headlines in a moment. Africa records spike in hunger, 282 million people undernourished according to the United Nations. An exclusive of the Premium Times newspaper, NFIU dismisses officials pushing for Atiku Tinubu's probes. As also in the papers this morning, Zulum says, I'm still governor of Borno, ISWAP not in charge. Loretta Onoche yet to file defense in 1 billion naira libel suit. This is also in papers. And Bajabia Mila says, I'll not be party to any press gagging bill. But there's a huge but there, which we'll probably will read later. But first, let's read the story of the Nigerian media blackout. This is in front page of all of the newspapers. Most of the newspapers in Nigeria, and it says the front banners of major newspapers in Nigeria on Monday bore a picture of an individual with a sealed mouth. Information blackout, read the caption that ran with the picture. It's not just about them against the media, it's about society's right to know, your right to be heard. The message is a joint release from the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, and Newspapers Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. It is expected to be the chyron on television stations, the jingles on radio stations, and the lead graphics on online media. This is a pushback by media organizations in the country against the Buhari government's brazen attempt to regulate social media and censor the press through controversial media bills at the National Assembly. The controversial bills are the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, that's the NBC, and the Nigerian Press Council, NPC Act. So there's the NBC Act and the NPC Act amendment bills. The former sought lawmakers, that's the NBC Act, seeks lawmakers' cooperation to include all online media among the media organizations the government seeks to be able to censor. The existing censorship on broadcast stations persists, and instances where the stations are ordered to stop the broadcast of programs the government feels uncomfortable with are rife. Heavy fines are imposed at will when there is an alleged breach. The latter, that is the NPC Act, gives the president the right to appoint the chairman of the board of the Nigerian Press Council. It also empowers the president to appoint all other members of the board upon the recommendation of the information minister. All right, so Barrister, what is problematic, most problematic? Because I think a lot of people have highlighted some of the problematic issues with this act. What is the most problematic in your opinion?
Well, let me start by saying it will be an invidious move for any government to attempt to muzzle the press. There is no doubt about it that we do have some issues with the press. Let's be frank with ourselves.
Right.
I grew up knowing the press to be not only that medium for disseminating information, and education and the stuff, but that there is that responsibility also attached to the job. But you find, yes, it's always been the case that bad news is good news to the media, because it makes your medium sell faster, and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But there should be responsibility,
Absolutely.
particularly on social media. Many of us are also guilty of it, You find the report, it's so interesting, so informative, and you want to share it, not knowing the actual source, and it ends up being fake news and all that. But you see, having said that, I think the government should at least draw the line between, those who are actually causing trouble,
Right.
on the information space.
And those who are doing their job.
And those who are doing their jobs.
Absolutely. And it's a thin line. I think, yes.
Yes, it's a very, very thin line, no doubt about it. But you see, another thing is, maybe we are getting close to that time when the concept of government and governance needs to be redefined. Because you are finding all over the world, people in government are muzzling the press, suppressing the people, Go and see what is happening in Cuba now. The people are protesting and all that, and then you see the high-handedness of government. So it's happening almost everywhere. And one begins to wonder, what is happening to the concept of government? Does it need redefinition? Maybe Plato,
Right, Plato has joined us this morning. Welcome, Plato. Good to have you here. Now, Barrister has talked about this thin line between, obviously, we see a lot of sensationalism, we see a lot of fake news out there. And I think in any sane society, they're all worried about this issue of fake news. So where do we draw the line?
Well, I think it's all about responsibility. Even in the conventional media, a journalist is expected to have that sense of responsibility and, of course, be able to draw between the line or draw, a middle point between, the quest to inform the people and national security. And so it's something that, but unfortunately, we now have the digital space where everyone is now a journalist. Okay, exactly. As long as you have data and then you have an Android phone or a phone with an iOS, you can obviously become a journalist. So you pick something and then you sit in the corner of your room, concoct something and then throw it out there, exactly. Knowing that there will be an army of persons who are going to take it. Right. Now, where then do we draw the line? Like Barrister said, we need a sense of responsibility. Now, I do not think, I think a major problem we are having in this country is that the antecedent of this government in being anti-free speech makes a lot of people become suspicious when they talk about regulating, what goes out there. That, if we know that you have been doing this, how are we sure that you are not going to abuse it? Right. And that's where I think we have a, and then we need also begin to talk about having institutions. Now, if I'm caught, peddling fake news, there is nothing wrong in, making me face the music for it. Yeah. But we must draw the line. If we say that something is fake news, our laws must be clear on what a fake news is. So it doesn't seem like it is one individual who is defining what fake news. It should not be like Mohammed that will define what fake news is. So, and again, the funniest thing also is that even government handles on Twitter and different social media platforms, I even found one thing, spreading, falsehood, all in the name of giving out information. So we must draw that line. When people know that you are responsible for whatever you spread, I keep telling people something that, there's something we always say in fact-checking classes that, before you spread that news, why not count 1 to 20? Now, within the space of counting 1 to 20, your sense of logic would come in to say, for instance, I think there was this news that broke out sometime through the usual platform medium, WhatsApp, that a particular Southwestern Army officer was suspended for arresting Fulanis and the likes. And when I saw it, now it's something, given the heat of the moment, you want to jump at it, but then you just take your time.
But then again, you see, I wonder at the higgledy-piggledy stance of government on this issue. Because we have laws in the land
that already sort of cover some of these issues.
The law of tort, for instance, you have defamation laws are there to take care of many of these issues. So I don't know why government will want to waste precious time. It should use, concentrate on the major issues, major problems of Nigeria.
Right. The press actually also accused the president of running a repressive military dictatorship in the early 1980s, and his government actually jailed journalists and critics and enacted draconian anti-press decrees. As a candidate seeking to return a civilian president, Mr. Buhari claimed he had become a reformed Democrat. I guess this kind of information and kind of thing that people will need to know before the voting.
Exactly. You see, Nigerians should be worried now because many of what is sold to them is sugar-coated, but they are bitter pills, like we're experiencing now with this government. People can barely feed. Look, I have never seen Nigeria this way in all my short years, on earth. These different governments that we have been able to witness, we have never had it this bad.
Right.
Never had it this bad.
And I'm just one of the things that just really for me just seem off is the way the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, has just carried on as if, we can do whatever we want.
The way I see it,
we really don't care what people think.
The way I see it.
So are these kind of people who trust our freedom of press and freedom of speech?
Exactly. I think Lai Mohammed is a very, very good, should I call him a distractor? Because he's always there throwing red herrings,
right?
All intended to divert the people's attention from the main issues, and then we all start running after. And Nigerians,
right.
The moment you mention one like this, everybody, like Plato said, has become a producer, presenter, and what have you, and everybody is trying to make a point on an issue. But then we would leave the main problems aside. So, Lai Mohammed, Garba Shehu, and of course, our Onoche have been very good at throwing red herrings, But you see, I think, that there are too much problems. There are enough problems for the government to contend with, rather than coming after these minor issues.
Right.
Now,
the way forward, let's talk about the way forward. Instead of talking about it, should we not be lobbying somebody, or who should we be lobbying in order to make sure that this kind of bills
I think the press
as opposed to just talking about
the press has started something. I know that newspaper proprietors have started. In fact, yesterday I think virtually all newspapers had it on their front pages.
It's like a blackout. But
like
is that going to do? And that's not.
Now it's going to send a strong message. And I don't forget that seems to, in spite of the the era of the new media, conventional media is also there. And by the time everyone begins, now it's even worrisome now that it's the age of using VPNs. So it means that we are going to be telling the world what is happening. In a situation where, whatever trends here is just limited here, now it's going to be seen outside there. And it sends a wrong message about this government. So whether the government likes it or not, I think we just need to be very proactive, because we can't sit back. This government has been given a lot of slags, and people have seen how terrible they can be when it comes to impugning on the rights of people, and of course not giving a damn. Right. So people can, and of course too, like you said, we need to also start. I think I said this yesterday. Maybe we should start picketing our legislators.
Plato Shorel. Now that they have a bill there, 5 years, my Lansoi. Anyway, the long and short of it is this: no government can fight the press. Go and ask Babangida and the rest of them.
I disagree. Any government can fight the press, but no government can win the press.
Can win. That's what I am saying. Because let me tell you, if you become tyrannical, there is a remedy called tyrannicide. It was applied to Hitler. It was applied to Mussolini. It was applied to Idi Amin. If you become another one in Nigeria, it will definitely apply to you.
Right. And of course, our politicians are doing what they do best, politicking with this, issue, I believe. From this year, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, on Monday said he would not be a party to any bill that sought to gag media practitioners. Mr. Gbajabiamila made the assertion at an award ceremony where he was speaking somewhere. He was actually asked this question. The Speaker was reacting to calls to expunge the Press Council bill, which sought to regulate activities of media practitioners. I will not be part of any bill that will seek to gag the press. No bill will come to the floor of the House that seeks to gag the press, because the press is supposed to be the voice of the people. people. However, there is press freedom and there is freedom of expression. It is important for Nigerians to listen to one another and understand each other so that we can make progress as a nation. There is nowhere in the world where freedom of expression is absolute. Freedom of expression is limited to the extent that it does not affect another person's freedom. This is made abundantly clear in the Constitution itself. If you go to the section 45, it states the freedom of expression you have is limited for sake of security. It is written in black and white. So if it's written in black and white, why are we?
What even worries me? What worries me more is that why is government so fixated on regulating the media or media practitioners? NBC is already breathing down hard. Already. Oh, you cannot do this. Oh, you cannot do this. Oh, you cannot say this. So now, apparently, you begin to ask yourself the question: if NBC is already doing that, why then do you still need another thing?
You see, one lesson, that Nigerian governments ought to learn is our judiciary may be whatever people call it, but when it comes to interpreting, playing its role in matters like this, the Nigerian judiciary has never failed us. Yes, the Nigerian judiciary has never failed us. So let them go and do whatever they want to do. But thank God we have a Gbajabiamila who is already resisting that move, to truncate democracy as it were. Because if you muzzle the press, if you deny the people their right to speech, as they are denying them their right to association,
right?
As in my view, it is like wanting to throw democracy away.
Okay.
But then the judiciary will be there.
Let's
it will wait for them.
All right, let's take a short commercial break. It is straight from the dailies, and we're bringing you stories straight from the newspapers this morning. So when we come back, we've got a bit more for you. So please stay tuned.
Since I switched to Mamador 100% pure cooking oil, family meal times have been so rewarding. You see, Mamador 100% pure cooking oil is cholesterol-free and contains omega-6 and 9, proven to keep heart healthy. Not only that, it also makes my food taste delicious.
You sure know how to take care of my stomach.
And your heart, especially. Switch to Mamador and enjoy healthy and tasty meals. Mamador is tested and approved by the Nigerian Heart Foundation. Cook with Mamador. Your heart will thank you.
èyí la gbédè o vault látọwọ́ Polaris Bank ilé ìwé ìfowópamọ́ oní díjítà tí ó wà ní àrọ́wọ́tó rẹ̀ ó ń ṣe ìgbésẹ̀ àǹfààní oríṣiríṣi ju ilé ìwé ìfowópamọ́ ti ara lọ gba vault sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ rẹ kí o jẹ àǹfààní ìfowóránṣẹ́ ọ̀fẹ́ fún 30 ọjọ́ jẹ gbádùn ìdá 100 ẹ̀bùn owó ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ ní wákàtí lórí gbogbo ìdúnàdúrà èjìdínlójìlélẹ́gbẹ̀rin vault wà fún àwọn oníbàárà Polaris àtàwọn alábàárà tuntun lọ sórí Google Play Store tàbí Apple Store láti gba vault látọwọ́ Polaris Bank àwọn òfin àti ipò wáyé.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ojúlówó Nasco cornflakes kún fún èròjà tí ń ṣara lóore tó dára nítorí wípé Old Flaked cornflakes náà ni Old Flaked cornflakes ní apilẹ̀ṣe ní ìlànà tí gbogbo èròjà ṣara lóore inú rẹ̀ ò fi lè yingin. Oúnjẹ aṣara lóore ni adùn inú rẹ̀ àfẹnuwó ó sì dára fún gbogbo ẹbí. Nítorí náà tí àtijẹ cornflakes bá dé rí i dájú pé Old Flaked Nasco cornflakes ló yàn láàyò oúnjẹ aládùn tó dára ní gbogbo ìgbà.
Ìrora ò lẹ́nu níbi tí Ibucap capsule wà. Ibucap capsule ní gbáǹkọ́gbì lọ́pọ̀ mẹ́ta agbára nínú ọ̀kan láti gbá ìrora àti ìgbóná wọlẹ̀ ní wàrà ṣíṣà. Ibucap ní paracetamol, caffeine àti ibuprofen nínú. Ibucap tó ní agbára ìlọ́po mẹ́ta nínú ọ̀kan ó lágbára ju ìrora lọ. Lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ta tára rẹ̀ ò bá yá lọ rí dókítà rẹ̀ o. Shalina Healthcare Limited ló ń ṣalágbàtà ẹ̀.
Torí wípé ìpolówó ọjà orí rédíò lásán lèyí, ẹ ò lè mú adùn àti kíkì pọ́pọ́ chokoléètì tó peléke yìí. Ẹ ò lè gbóòórùn dídùn tó ń jáde láti inú ooru àpòpọ̀ Cadbury chocolate, mílíìkì pẹ̀lú ṣúgà tó ṣe rẹ́gí. Ẹ ò tí ì lè mọ ìgbáládùn gbígbóná rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ire tó wà nínú ife Cadbury chocolate mi yìí. Ǹjẹ́ mo ń tẹ̀lé ṣe bí? Ẹ̀yin náà ẹ ṣètò ife Cadbury hot chocolate aládùn tiyín báyìí.
Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate jẹ̀gbádùn ìrètí Cadbury.
Ohun tó yẹni ló yẹni, ìrọ̀rùn ló yẹ àwọn oníbàárà wa. Nítorí náà, ní ìgbàkúùgbà tí o bá fi owó ránṣẹ́ láti ilé ìfowópamọ́ ìfowópamọ́ access ilé ìfowópamọ́ mìíràn tí owó náà lọ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ la ó fún ọ ní owó rẹ padà tàbí ká dá owó tí a máa ń gbà lórí ìfowóránṣẹ́ padà fún ọ lẹ́ẹ̀márùn-ún. èyí túmọ̀ sí wípé ní gbogbo ìgbà tí a bá fi owó ránṣẹ́ tí kò lọ rárá fún ìdí kan tàbí òmíràn lọ́jọ́ náà la ó dá gbogbo owó rẹ padà o. tí a kò bá dá padà ní ọjọ́ kan a ó fún ọ ní ìlọ́po márùn-ún owó tí a bá gbà lórí ìfowóránṣẹ́ rẹ. ìdí nìyí tí a fi ń fọwọ́ sọ̀yà wípé ìrọ̀rùn ẹ̀yin oníbàárà wa ló jẹ wá lógún. access ó ju ìfowópamọ́ lọ.
gbogbo ilé yìí pàápàá.
ọ̀rẹ́ kí ló ṣe ọ́ tó ń fapá jánu.
koríko ló kún oko pákí àtàgbàdo mi yìí bí mo ṣe ń tú koríko kan bí ìgbà tí méjì tún fò padà ni.
ìyẹn kì í ṣèṣòro rárá. làgọ́n máa yanjú wọn.
làgọ́n bíi ti bó.
làgọ́n jẹ́ oògùn apakoríko nínú oko pákí àti àgbàdo ó sì máa ń yọ àgbẹ̀ nínú wàhálà àti máa roko nígbà gbogbo. fọ́n làgọ́n sí oko rẹ ní kété tàbí lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ kan tí o bá ti gbin pákí àtàgbàdo rẹ kí o wá jẹ̀gbádùn bíbọ́ lọ́wọ́ koríko. owó tí à ń ta làgọ́n ò fani lápòyá o kò sì ní atrazine nínú ó sì rọrùn láti lò pẹ̀lú ìdáàbòbò tó péye. Bayer Middle Africa Limited ló ń pin tó sì ń ta làgọ́n jákèjádò Nàìjíríà. Bayer ìmọ̀ sáyẹ́ǹsì fún ọjọ́ ọ̀la tó dára.
Give malaria a double punch of Artesunate and Camodia Queen. A perfect combination that Camosunate. Camosunate is anti-malaria therapy. And you will bounce back to life. Comes in 4 different packs for different age groups. Below 1 year, 1 to 6 years, 7 to 13 years, 14 and above. For a malaria-free family.
Camosunate, effective anti-malaria for all ages. Marketed by Janet Pharmaceuticals Limited.
Mommy, my teacher said 90% of my brain will develop by the time I am 5.
Really? What else did she say?
She said I need iron in my food for my brain to grow well.
Oh, very true. And that's why I give you Cerelac Junior every day, which provides half of your daily iron needs.
And Cerelac Junior tastes so good.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
Welcome back. It is still straight from the dailies on Splash 105.5 FM. I hope you're doing well wherever it is you're listening to us from. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. And of course, let's build this community together. And of course, you can also watch us live right now. That's right. We're live on Facebook. So if you want to see what's happening live in the studio, do go onto your Facebook. Follow us at Splash FM 105.5. And of course, as you watch us, don't forget to share. Click on the share button. All right. That's an important factor to, being a part of this community. We always ask that you share and that you help us spread, the message to your community. We definitely would appreciate that. All right. Also in the headlines this morning, and a story that, made me realize that, of course, as usual, you must definitely never judge a story by its headline. It's in the Premium Times this morning, and it says Nigerian government moves to control media, allocates 4.8 billion naira to monitor WhatsApp phone calls. Of course, you have to dig a little deeper every time you see a headline. Now, a total of 4.8 billion naira, according to this story, has been allocated to the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, to monitor WhatsApp messages, phone calls, text messages, amongst others. Of the figure, 1.93 billion naira was earmarked for WhatsApp intercept solution and 2.93 billion naira for Turaya interception solution, a communication system used for monitoring voice calls or call-related information, SMS data traffic, among others. This was contained in the supplementary budget approved by the National Assembly last Wednesday. The lawmakers had approved and passed a supplementary budget of 982 billion naira for the 2021 fiscal year against the 895 billion naira proposed by the President Muhammadu Buhari, indicating an increase of about 87 billion naira, while 123.3 billion naira was fixed for recurrent non-debt expenditure. 895 billion naira was earmarked for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending on the 31st day of December 2021. It goes on and on, but I mean, obviously it can be a bit alarm, cause people to panic when they think what they're sponsoring, they are trying to monitor all of our calls, and stuff like that. But it's important to know that, I guess, in any same times, I mean, how do we think maybe like the FBI or some of these security operatives work? It's not necessarily that they're going to monitor, be listening to my telephone calls, but I think it's more for security purposes as opposed to it just being government wants to hear what we're all saying. So, for example, if I WhatsApp something to somebody, do you understand? So that's why I say it's important to dig deeper than the headline. But what are your thoughts on this, Plateau?
Well, for me, it's something that goes around. That happens almost everywhere. People, you keep a tap on, people's calls in some instances, and that is not. And again, it must be said that it has to be within the framework of the law. You don't just tap people's call unless there is reasonable suspicion,
intelligence,
and then you also get a court injunction to that order, to that effect, allowing you to do that. And most times it's done, behind closed doors. So, but in a situation where you now want to just do, you want to place a tap on everyone's call, then there's something very suspicious about that. Unless you're saying that every one of us here, every Nigerian is a criminal or is criminal minded. And again, we also want to ask, or I want to ask, that while this is a good effort, what are we doing to other medium of ensuring security that we seem to be leaving behind? Yes, we talk about the kinetic and the non-kinetic. We are saying that yes, new weapons are being supplied, but then what of the non-kinetic? How are we trying as much as possible to radicalize, these individuals? That's one. Two is, how well are we bringing them to book to serve as deterrence to others? Is it not the case where we keep leaving these criminal-minded individuals just to be on a free prowl rather than rein them in? So these are some of the issues why we are doing all this. Well, unfortunately, I doubt if these people we call bandits, for instance, use WhatsApp to send messages.
Yes,
maybe not.
You see, if it is calculated to promote a particular cause, or especially, given the state of insecurity in the land, then of course, one cannot question the government on that. It happens everywhere. If there is reasonable cause for the security operatives to suspect somebody, his phone lines could be tapped. That happens everywhere in the world, But you see, it is just the Nigerian system, the Nigerian government. People have this repugnant disposition to everything government wants to do. Why? Because they don't see that sincerity in what government does. I mean, like I said earlier, you can imagine a government that has the multiplicity of humanist problems on its hands, and then you find what it is chasing, what it is going after. Nigerians are hungry, they can't feed. Go to the markets and see what the prices are saying. Nigerians don't have money, they cannot pay their children's school fees. The economy is not going south, it is already south. Where to go from here is what we don't know. On the political scene, we are still seeing political assassinations here and there. What are we doing to curb all of these, problems that we have had for so many years? Well, one would have thought, that by now we would have outgrown some of these problems.
Right.
So there are major issues for the government to concentrate on, and they need the confidence of the people, because that appears almost completely absent now.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we'd like you to wade in. I'm sure that with all of the things that we've been saying this morning, you definitely have a thing or two to contribute as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to hear your views. And if you're watching us live, the comment section is just right below me. So just go to the comment section and leave a message. But of course, don't forget to share this video as well, so your friends and family can also be a part of this program. All right, number to call is 0809-155-1055 or 080-5699-8678. Also 0706-949-3000. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ayekoto.
Yes.
Good morning, Carol.
Thank you. Good morning, Barista. Good morning, Plato.
Good morning.
God bless all of you. Yeah. You know, can there be any meaningful development in any country where the blood of innocent people are being shed on daily basis? Can there be meaningful development in a country where the fundamental human rights are being tampered by the government? Nigeria government are still the fundamental human rights of every Nigerian. You cannot talk and go scot-free. When you protest or you hold rally, you will be arrested. Can there be any meaningful development? Mr. Government will be watchful. We are watching him.
All right, thank you very much, Ayekoto. All right, let's go to the next call real quickly on 0706-949-3000. If you have text messages, we'd definitely love to read from you as well. You can text to any of those numbers or call the numbers that we have there for you. All right, this text here, this person is very angry. All right, let's take this call real quickly. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Who's speaking, please?
I'm Olushola Julius.
Oh, hello, Olushola Julius. Go ahead.
Barrister, please, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Olushola, good morning.
Now, there is a question we need to ask this current administration. Number one, what are they going to remember for? Now, what legacy are they going to leave behind? Then secondly, the people that will be campaigning for APC, what are they going to base their own manifesto in 2023 upon for campaigning? Now, yesterday I was reading from one of the newspapers or from one of the statements from Mr. President that people of Cross River State and Zamfara State will appreciate these governors for defecting to APC. Now, with all this happening in this country, look at what people are saying in the studio. To feed for average Nigerians now is a tug of war. Once you have 2-3 kids with your wife and yourself, to eat a day square meal is trouble. Security is the case. And government is still planning, gagging the information that will come to us so that we will not have freedom of information. People like Lai Mohammed, that were very strong in making the truth statement in 2013, 2014, before 2015 election, are people now trying to couch people and even information, telling lies on daily basis. Mr. President and his handlers should watch it. Posterity will give account on them. One day, we will die, just like Sultan died on Sunday. Good morning.
Wow.
Well,
okay, all right. This text here, that was
sermon on the mount.
I know, right? I mean, all of us at the end of the day, I mean, that will be the destination.
That's the Beatitudes.
Exactly.
Aziz from Ojo is very angry this morning. He says, "But Jabia Miller should." He says, let me edit it. Keep quiet is what I will say. We're not his puppies. He's either Oshakala or Oshokolo. He cannot be both. Honorable Bonvik is a disgrace. Mr. Aziz. All right, thank you very much. Let's take this. All right. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name is Mr. Lawal.
Your name is?
Mr. Lawal.
Mr.
I'm
Lawal,
calling
good
from
to have you
within
here.
Ibadan.
Thank you so much for calling in. Go ahead, Mr. Lawal.
Yes, please. On federal government trying to track conversations on WhatsApp or whatever, I don't think there's anything wrong with that if it's being done under the law, the way it ought to be done. Because there's no way we'll be in such a distressed country without information being deployed, technology rather being deployed, to curb this whole thing. That's one. Two, I have a problem with the Nigerian government. When you hold people who are culpable of certain crimes, you just go keep them somewhere. You don't let them come to the law court, and then they determine whether they're truly criminals for others to see and learn from. You just hold a criminal and then you keep the person. We get to know when you pick them. We don't get to know the outcome. Thirdly,
when you keep people in hunger, how do they even think fine? You know, if somebody said, Olushola Julius, you have a family, you have just one wife and 2 kids, it's like ogun. To feed them is a problem. I'm a business person. I run my business on generator fuel. It is a problem. It is a serious problem, honestly. And I don't know where we're headed. Because people would say the best brains are running out of the country. Why wouldn't we run? It is a problem. That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate that. All right. This text here says, the federal government peddles fake news every now and then. Boko Haram is defeated. 10 million people lifted from poverty. These are many others show how much fake news come from this regime. Yet they want to deal with fake news. We go deal all right someday. This too shall pass. So Adeleke. All right. Thank you very much. Let's take this real quickly. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Who's speaking, please?
Sola from a work.
All right. Go ahead real quickly.
Let me ask you, the gentlemen and ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. You beat your child and tell him not to cry. Thank you.
I didn't quite get that.
If you beat your child and tell him not to cry,
I see. Okay. Interesting. Wow. We have a lot of, people.
There was a call, that came in, and I think I have also been harping on this problem. We have one big problem in the country right now.
Okay.
Ordinarily, the 3 arms of government ought to be working in sync, but sadly, they are working in tandem. Why do I say that? Now, look at what has been happening. There is a law that has been enacted, by the legislature. Kidnapping, for instance. All right? And the security operatives are doing their job, arresting these people and taking them to court. But have you heard any state or federal court come up with a conviction of these kidnappers, considering the enormity of that crime today? Because I think if the 3 arms of government work in sync, if we have been hearing a lot of convictions, there are some states that have put death penalty, we are finding some people are being executed, it could be a deterrent. But
Barrister, let's also not shy away from the reality here. Evans has been arrested for
how long?
For how long? I think we may begin to talk about a review of our criminal justice system, where prosecution takes, particularly matters of national importance, takes so long.
Why is it that the politicians are the ones who are always getting their way? Look at electoral disputes.
Right.
The speed with which they are dispensed with, up to the Supreme Court. When do we need that kind of dispensation, speedy dispensation of justice, if not now, especially with this insecurity, and what have you?
Totally agree. All right, so we have a few messages here. Let me get through them real quickly. This one says, what is fake news? Who determines fake news? The greatest fake news in Nigeria from government agencies, e.g. federal government version on our debt and World Bank version, FIRS fake reports on our revenue, which was confirmed by their DG. They want USA democracy and money, but want China laws. Honorable Bonvik, well done. You're doing well. All right, Joe, thank you very much. Let's take one more real quickly. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Ronke.
Good morning, Akim Bolushere.
Akim Bolushere.
Okay.
Barrister, good morning.
Go ahead.
Yes, Akim, how are you?
There's something that really bothering me. And I don't know how I'm going to solve this problem. This issue of foodstuff and the rate at which things is going up in Nigeria is becoming a problem to us, we ordinary people. The people, they don't care because they don't buy it in the market. They supply it to them. They don't even know how much stock they have in their kitchen. Everything is being supplied to them. But what about the masses? The masses are really suffering. We have even buy something in the morning, in the afternoon, the price has gone up. And the inflation in Nigeria is, in fact, Nigeria is suffering. Somebody just said, how will you beat your child and tell that child not to cry? It's becoming a war for Nigeria now to feed their family. God help us. Our president seems not to be care. Others seem not to be care. Opposition seem not to be care. We need God intervention. And I say quickly, Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Akim Bolu-Sherry. And on that note, we'll call it a day on today's edition of Straight from the Dailies. Thank you very much for listening, for participating, for generally just being here. We appreciate you. And we hope that you stay with us because we've got much more in store for you. Everyone's all of a sudden now talking about the new variant of COVID-19, especially now that it's in Oyo State. All right.
Is that your?
Are we going to go back?
Is
yes.
that your topic for?
Yes, at 8 o'clock. We're going to be talking about that because we want to bring it back because it went to the back of our mind. We want to bring it back to the front of our mind if there's anything like that. Amen. All right. So listen up at 8 o'clock where we're going to be answering a few frequently asked questions about this new variant, what it means for those who have been vaccinated, for those who have not. Some of those questions we will answer at 8 o'clock. Thank you, Barrister, for your time.
It's always a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Plato, for your time
You're
as
most
well.
welcome.
I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good morning.
Splash FM 105.5.
The recent nightmares for maize farmers in Nigeria is the prevalence of troublesome pests called fall armyworm. These pests can destroy a maize farm in just days, and farmers have been searching for a good means to fight